Have you ever experienced this? That you went for shopping, bought a dress of a color, and when you came back home, the color changed. What just happened? Was your dress swapped? Not really. It's the phenomenon of light, and we'll be studying about it today. Hi, I'm Dr. Riddhi Lalan, author of Dental Material Mind Map book and a prosthodontist who's going to teach you optical properties of dental material. So as we all know, light is a form of electromagnetic radiation, and a very tiny fraction of light is visible to our naked eyes, which is basically in the range of 400 to 700 nanometer. Now, how is an object visible to our eye? Basically, the object will emit light, which will be reflected and absorbed, which would lead to the visibility between violet and red color. So let's talk about dimension of color. It's basically composed of three things: U, value, and chroma. Now to make it really simple, you can remember it by B, L and S. U means the basic color of object. Red, yellow, green, the basic color. Value defines the lightness and the darkness of the object, and chroma means the intensity or saturation. So let's learn about Munsell's color system. What you see here is basically U, value and chroma that has been shown photographically. So yellow, blue, green, what are these? The basic colors. So this will be termed as U. Moving on to the lightness and the darkness. So what we see here, from white to black, the vertical line will be value. And the third thing, what you would be able to appreciate here would be that the intensity is increasing as we move away, right? So this will be the chroma. So now I hope you're able to understand the three basic components of color system. Moving on to the optical properties, okay? So we'll be recalling something that we have already learned: transparent, translucent and opaque. So it's basically dependent on the amount of light that it allows to pass. Opaque will never allow any light to pass. One of the most common example would be metal. Porcelain fused to metal, right? Even porcelain would not allow it to pass. So it's opaque in nature. Transparent, it allows all the light to pass. Now what is transparent? The incisal edge of lower anterior appears transparent, and translucent, which actually allows partial light to pass, and that's enamel. Now let's talk about the next two forms, that's metamerism and fluorescence. So what we were talking about, the example, right? The dress appeared of a color at the showroom, but when you came home, it appeared different. What changed? Did the dress change? No, the light source changed. So basically, when the type of light changes, the color changes. This phenomenon is known as metamerism. So let's just quickly take this example. Okay, what's going to happen? That two objects appear of similar color under bulb, or let's say artificial light. But when the source of light is changed, the second object does not appear to be similar to the first one. What happened? The source of light or the medium has changed. Okay, so that's the very important phenomenon when it comes to clinical dentistry. How you select the shade is very important. If you select the shade in artificial light, it might appear to match the adjacent tooth. But when you actually cement that crown and the patient goes out, the patient is going to come back and say, "Doc, this looks unnatural. Why did this happen?" So the shade selection should always happen in the daylight. Now let's talk about the types of light. So as we know, it's daylight, incandescent light and fluorescent lamp. Now fluorescence, I hope you all have experienced it in some party maybe. What happens? So the energy that is absorbed, okay, will convert it into a greater wavelength. So UV light is going to be absorbed and it's actually going to emit other visible light, which will be between this 400 to 450 nanometer, which appears to be blue white in nature. So the emitted light is going to be in this wavelength. Hence, this is known as fluorescence. Now, this becomes a very important factor when you actually have to match the tooth shade. When you want exactly similar, identical color matching, fluorescence is also taken into consideration. Okay, talking about how would we select the shade. So now what I want you to understand here is that this method that we are going to discuss is specific to one system. Every system has a different method. Some would have selection of value followed by chroma followed by hue, but that would not be the same case in other type of system or shade selection. So basically you have to read the manual that you get with your shade guide to make sure that you are selecting it in a correct manner. So let's just discuss one example of 3D Master Shade Guide. First thing that you do is not select the hue. You don't go and select the basic color. You select the lightness and the darkness. So what you see here, there are different numbers from 0 to 5, okay? And each one of them is becoming darker with shade. Can you appreciate this? 0 being the lightest and the darkness is increasing as we move on to 5. So the first thing is you select how darker is the tooth. Now, once that you have selected, okay, let's say it is number 3. Before that, it's very important that the patient is away from you at 1 arm distance. You are looking at them in the natural daylight. And also, you place your hand of the shade guide that would be 1 arm away. You don't be so close that it actually hampers the decision making. Moving on to the second step, you select the chroma. So now what happens, depending on the lightness and darkness, you go for the saturation. How much saturated does the natural tooth appear to be? The adjacent tooth which is not prepared. It's very important. You never actually take the stump shade of the prepared tooth. It has to be the unprepared tooth that helps in the selection of the shade. So now you decide the chroma. Once you actually always see the middle one. So if you notice, 2, 3 and 4 have 3 rows in total. You will always select the middle one. You don't go for the adjacent one. You basically go for the middle one and you select it. Now that you have selected, okay, from first, second and third, you either take the middle one, go for the right one or the left one, and it's basically determining the hue. Here the basic colors, the stump colors, the base colors change. So middle, right and left, and hence you end up selecting the perfect shade. Now there is one more technique which is known as squint test. This is one of the most loved questions of examiner. They'll always ask you, what test are you going to perform to select? Correct? Every time you might not have the spectrophotometer or the digital advanced thing. So how do you exactly do it? Squint test can be done with any shade guide. What you need to do is you place the patient at 1 arm's distance. You hold it. Okay, so now on the third step, the final step, you hold it next to the patient. And what do? You squint your eyes. And whenever you squint your eyes, the shade that disappears first is the shade that is most naturally blending with the existing tooth color. Okay, and that is the one that you select. It's not the one that stands out in the end. It means that it's not matching, right? That's the reason it's standing out. But the one that is next to it and is just vanishing, which will mean that it is actually matching the shade, will be the shade that would be selected. So this is how you actually do the squint test. Talking about what is fluorescence in teeth? So I hope you all will be able to answer that it's the ability of the teeth to emit visible light when exposed to UV light, making them appear brighter. Can you quickly tell me the range? It's 400 to 450 nanometer and it's going to appear blue-white. Excellent. If you could guess it, you were paying attention. talking about the MCQ. A dentist selects a shade of maxillary central incisor under dental chair light. So the source of light here is the dental chair light. At the end of the day, when the patient returns next morning, the restoration appears mismatched and more yellow compared to the adjacent tooth. The most likely cause, okay, so we know that the first source was the dental chair light and the second source was the daylight, and hence two different sources. So this will be known as metamerism. Very good if you correctly guessed. So if you really enjoyed learning this topic, you can quickly go to the app, solve other MCQs and flashcards, and I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe.